welcome to Property Hotline with me, Suesha Samant, on India's first property business channel, Magicbricks Now. Finance is the most important element of buying a home. Unless you have the money sorted, you can't really go ahead with that deal. Which is why on today's show, we'll be answering questions related to home finance. Joining me in the studio is our expert for the day, Harsh Roongta, who is a Sebi registered investment advisor and a personal finance expert. Hi Harsh, welcome to the show.
Hello.
So Harsh, are you all ready to answer the questions that our viewers are going to send in?
Absolutely.
Perfect. With that, we get cracking on the first question, which has been sent in to us by Vicky. Now, he posts his query on our website saying that his wife and himself are, he is the co-applicant. He's saying that both of them are going to buy a property in Bangalore and are planning to take a loan from one of the banks. Now, his CIBIL score is 570 and his wife's CIBIL score is 810. And also, she will be the primary applicant for the home loan. He wants to understand whether this will affect the loan amount or will the bank deny the loan if he is the co-applicant?
So I think very interesting question from Vicky. I mean, obviously, just so that other viewers can relate to this, any CIBIL score below 750 is a little difficult to get a loan.
Before you go ahead, firstly, I'd want you to break this down for our viewers. What is a CIBIL score and why is it important while one is applying for a loan?
That's very important.
Yes.
Whenever you borrow, whether it is through a credit card or a personal loan or a car loan or a home loan, the lender is required to report your repayment history compulsorily to a credit bureau.
Okay.
And the most famous credit bureau is CIBIL, which is a short form for Credit Information Bureau of India Limited. And therefore, generically, it is called CIBIL, although there are 4 credit bureaus. The credit bureau gets information from all lenders. Right. So, you may have taken a home loan from one lender, taken a car loan from a second lender, taken a jewelry loan from a third lender.
It is a collective result of all the loans
all the loans that you have taken. And they collate all this information and are able to present it to another new prospective lender. This is extremely valuable for both the borrower as well as the lender. For prospective lenders, it is very valuable because he comes to know the repayment track history.
That's right.
And it is valuable for the borrowers also. Because 90% of the borrowers maintain an excellent history.
That's right.
And when they maintain an excellent history and that is known to a prospective lender from a third party independent source, that gives them huge credibility.
Basically, it becomes easy for both the parties.
Both the parties.
The buyer and the lender.
And they get it cheaper, they get it faster for the borrower. And the credit bureau essentially creates a score. Higher your score is, better are your chances of repaying the current loan, the prospective loan on time.
Right.
And in the CIBIL environment, the score is out of 900. So think of it like an exam. If you get 750 plus, you pass.
So I believe in Vicky's case, his wife has 810, which is a very good score.
Which is an excellent score.
All right.
Vicky's score is 570. Now, unlike an exam, you may have a low score simply because you may not have attempted many questions. I mean, in the sense, he may not have borrowed in the past.
Right.
And therefore, you have to borrow some amount of time before your score will build up. Or his score could be low because he has defaulted in the past. Now, we don't really know why his score is low.
Right. But in this case, if he is the co-applicant, will it affect the lending?
So,
the borrowing?
The borrowing. So, clearly, when a bank looks at them, they will look at them if both of them are the applicants for the loan, joint applicants, and if they are considering their joint incomes, because the loan depends on the income. If they are considering the income of both the husband and the wife, clearly they are both are primary applicants. It does not matter who's named as first applicant, who's named as a second applicant. In which case, clearly, there is no question that his low credit score, if it is because of a default, will affect the loan. Even if he is just there, just as an addition, where he is suppose not even earning and he is just there as an addition, the flat is owned by the wife, even then it will affect.
So in this case, what should they do? The wife should apply for the loan, and Vicky should try and stay away?
So if her income is enough to justify the loan, I think she should clearly...
That is a better way of going about it. All right. Thank you so much, Vicky, for writing into us. We are now getting our next question on the phone. Hi.
Yes, ma'am. I'm Rajiv.
Hello, Mr. Mittal. Welcome to Property Hotline. What's your question?
Ma'am, my question is a little tricky question.
Right.
I took a loan of about 20 lakh rupees.
All right.
It was disbursed to me between year 2007 to 2010.
Okay.
The loan was, complete amount was disbursed to me. And I'm paying the loan back since then. And till date, I have paid close to 16 lakh rupees have been paid. However, of this, 5 lakhs has gone towards principal and 11 lakh have gone towards interest servicing.
Okay.
Now, today I'm in a position wherein I can pay back this loan. If I pay back, I will have to pay back around 15 lakh rupees.
All right.
Because I can take out this money from the Provident Fund wherein I'm getting only 8.75% interest. Now, my question is, if I pay back this loan, 15 lakh rupees, so my EMI will come down by 18,000 rupees, which EMI which I am paying I'll save.
All right.
And I have to pay this EMI till year 2027 of 18,000 rupees.
2027.
So
all right.
My question is it financially prudent at this stage to prepay the loan and invest this saving in the SIP of an equity diversified fund, or to continue paying the loan and don't pay this 15 lakh rupees, continue earning in my Provident Fund? This is the question, ma'am.
Right. Percy, is it a tricky question?
Yes and no.
Yes
just
and
one thing I wanted to check with you, Rajiv. What is your tax bracket? Are you in the 20% tax bracket?
I am in the highest tax bracket, and I have taken little bit benefit of this interest loan. I am taking that benefit also.
Okay. And this interest rate, what is the interest rate you're paying on the loan?
Interest rate being paid is 9%.
You are paying at 9%?
Ji.
Okay. So that's an excellent rate that you have got. You probably got it long back. So two things, Rajiv. First, this 9% interest rate that you are paying, effectively the actual interest rate to you is 6.25 because of the tax break that you are getting on this. So effectively you have borrowed this money at 6.25. Now if you repay that, you will essentially be saving 6.25%. Instead of putting that, and please remember, if you are planning to withdraw this, you just mentioned that you are planning to withdraw this from your employee provident fund or probably public provident fund. There you are getting 8.7 or 8.75 post-tax. So you are withdrawing money from 8.75 post-tax and repaying a loan that's costing you 6.25. That makes absolutely no sense at all. The second, so if at all you really want to shift from EPF to equity, I think that is what you broadly want to do through this route. I'm sure there will be other ways to do this, but taking money out from 8.75 post-tax and putting it into 6.25 post-tax does not make any sense at all to me, Rajiv.
Sir, can you just clarify how this becomes 6.25 percent my loan servicing? So
you're paying at 9%. That interest is tax deductible effectively, right? So at a 30% tax bracket, you would get 2.7% off or 2.75% off, which means effective cost to you is 6.25%.
Okay, fine.
Right, so ideally he should continue to do what he's doing.
And if he wants to invest in equity, Rajiv, I think you should do that through a systematic investment route. So that I think is perfect. But you do that directly from wherever you have the money, directly in a systematic way. If you invest it in diversified equity, that is going to give you a good return. Don't follow this route of putting it into the, out the loan amount.
Right, I hope that solves your problem, Mr. Mittal. Thank you so much for calling in. We now move to our next question, which has been sent in by Viraj via Facebook. He says that he is an NRI and he's planning to buy a house in Delhi. Now, he wants to apply for a loan for the same. He wants to know, Harsh, what are the rules for NRIs applying for a loan in India and how much amount of loan can he apply for?
So, I think this is a very general question. So, the answer will necessarily have to be general. So, an NRI would be effectively, except for certain things that we will discuss, the loan application will be treated similarly.
All right.
Any home loan, it is dependent on your income and the value of the property. You would typically get a certain multiple of your income as a loan, subject to a certain percentage of the property, whichever is lower. Similar would be the case with an NRI. The difference is, depending on which country the NRI is resident in,
all right.
Okay, the lender really wants to know this income that ever he is showing, the proof that is required to show will be different. What proof is required to show income in India and what will be required in, say, the US, or what is required in the Middle East somewhere, or the Europe, it will be different. So, whatever passes for proof of income and how he will assure of the regularity, that it will continue for the next 10 years.
With that, I want to ask you, does it also matter to for how many years has he been living outside?
Absolutely.
Does that also come into account?
Of course it matters, because if he's been living outside for a long time, the regularity is assumed.
All right.
Because if you've been there for 8 years, 10 years, then clearly he has done well. Otherwise, he would not really have stayed there for that long. So, it does everything. It's just like a local resident. If he's worked for 10 years, he will be appraised differently from somebody who's just worked for 2 years.
That's right.
Something similar. Also, the remittability. In certain countries, remittance is not allowed, especially some African countries. So, that would have some kind of an
he has
impact,
to keep into account. Yeah.
Right? What is his age? Again, these are standard things. So, let's just assume he is around 40. Then he would typically get a loan equivalent to about 3 to 4 times of his annual income that he can prove. And of course, subject to maximum of 80% of the agreement value of the property. So, the balance 20% of the agreement value plus 100% of the stamp duty, registration charges, any other charges that he would have to bear on his own. I think that broadly it's very similar, except for the way he will prove his income.
Right.
That is one. The process could be a little different. Either if the NRI is in India at the time of the loan, he can do it himself.
That's simpler.
That is simpler.
All right.
Or he can authorize somebody. He gives a power of attorney to somebody who will sign the loan documents, etc. on his behalf. On this loan, power of attorney, lot of NRIs have misgivings. I think lenders have made it very clear, and I think we can use this channel also to say the same thing. The power of attorney does not authorize your relative or whosoever it is you are giving the POA to sell the property or deal with the property.
Okay.
It only authorizes you to do the loan formalities.
Which makes it simpler, of course,
Absolutely.
for the person who's applying for the loan. All right. Thank you so much, Viraj, for writing into us. We now move to our next question, which has been sent in to us by Vikrant via email. Now, he says that he's planning to buy a house in Pune for investment purpose and wishes to occupy it after 3 years. Now, he has looked at both pre-launch and ready-to-move-in properties. He wants to know whether he can buy a house without applying for a loan or make the payment in stages. I believe he's trying to break that down to understand that if he buys a pre-launch property, then probably he wants to hold on and not take a loan. Is that what he means?
So, I think from the query it seems he does not want to take a loan.
Okay.
So, I think that's clearly, can you buy a property without taking a loan? Oh, absolutely yes. Okay. So, but not having taken a loan, he still probably wants to pay in stages. I think that is the sum total of the query. So, obviously, if it is a ready property, that option is not going to be available without taking a loan.
Okay.
I mean, which seller, whether it is a developer or a reseller, once he hands over possession of the property, he is wanting his entire payment. So, if at all you want to pay by installments, you have to take a loan and pay back the lender in installments.
Right.
In under construction, of course, you pay a certain portion at the time of booking, then depending on the progress of the construction you pay. So that facility is available without you having to take a loan. The only issue is the two products are completely different. When you buy a completed property, it's real estate. When you buy under construction, it's a different product. The risks are different. Rewards are high. The risks are high. The rewards are high.
I was just about to say that. In fact, a lot of people want to go in for a pre-launch property, probably because of this. They don't want to take a loan and they want to make a part payment and, you know, go in stages. So
I think as long as they understand the risks, okay, I think that is absolutely fine. They should understand that. So people, if they confuse and compare the two products, I think as long as they understand that they are making an investment into a riskier product, right? Obviously, I think they should look at it.
Right. So that's your answer, Vikrant. In case you can only be in the situation of not taking a loan in case you're buying a pre-launch property. If you're buying a ready-to-move-in property, then that option is not available for you. Thank you so much for writing in to us. Harsh, we'll move on to the next question, which has been sent in to us by Smita via email. Now, she says that she's a retired working professional and she wants to buy a house jointly with her daughter, who's been working for a MNC for the last 3 years. Now, her annual income, I believe the daughter's annual income is rupees 6 lakhs, and she wants to know whether they can jointly avail for a loan.
So, it would have been interesting to find out why they want to do a joint loan.
Okay.
I mean, typically in these situations, what happens is that the parent, in this case the mother, would put up the down payment and the daughter would take the loan and pay off the loan, because the mother is already retired. So based on, I mean, there is no income, or even if there is some income, that can't be considered for repayment of the loan. So typically that is the reason. So I think this whole about joint loans, it depends. When the lender looks at it, he looks at it in two forms, right? Is there any pooling of income?
Okay.
Right? And the pooling of income will pay off the loan.
Which in this case
is not there. Right? So in which case, all that he wants to know is that the person whose income is not being considered, but who's still a co-owner and a co-applicant, right? He or she in this case should not be in a position to disrupt the enjoyment, or what is likelihood that there might be some disputes between those two applicants, and you know that would lead to the main applicant, in this case the daughter, not paying the loan. Typically a parent and a child, especially if it is an only child, I don't think there would be a problem in their getting a loan. At most the banks might request, the lenders might request that there be proper arrangements made to make sure that if there is any share in that property of the mother, it would be passed on to the daughter, whose responsibility it is to pay the loan. This is just to ensure that there are no issues with the property ownership itself.
So basically she'll have to establish that the daughter is her heir and she will inherit the property.
Exactly.
In that case, it increases her chances of taking a joint loan?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. I hope that answers your question, Smita. Thank you so much for writing into us. We now move to our next question, which has been sent in to us by Gaurav via email. Now, Harsh, he says that he wants to buy a flat in Thane where he wants to set up an office. He wants to understand whether he should go in for a home loan, or there's a separate loan to buy a residential property which he can use for commercial purposes.
That's a very interesting question again.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just request Gaurav and other viewers who are watching this, please read this thick little home loan document that comes.
That's the most difficult thing, but yeah, that's the important thing to do.
In every document, to the best of my knowledge, there would be a clause written that if you change the user of the premise, the nature of using the premise, if you change without appropriate approvals from the local authorities and also from the lender, then it will be treated as an event of default.
All right. What are the consequences in that case?
The consequences,
I know a lot of people who do that. Exactly. They use their home as an office.
They do that. I agree with you. So the consequence is twofold. First, the first consequences are with your local authority. I mean, you're not allowed to use residential premises as office premises.
Space.
Doctors are allowed, chartered accountants are allowed to a limited extent. If it is within that category, it's not a problem, right? At least from a local authority's perspective. It is a problem from the lender's perspective, even for chartered accountants and doctors. But at least the local authorities issue is not there. Because if local authorities have an issue, they can put penalties on you, they can do lots of things. And that has an impact on the property itself. As far as lenders are concerned, the reason home loans are given at a low rate is because people have an emotional attachment to the house that they stay in. Clearly. And because of that, default rates on home loans are low, even if property prices fall.
All right.
You don't want to give up your home to the borrower or to the lender just because property prices have fallen below the loan amount outstanding. Not that it will happen, but even if it happens, the bank is reasonably sure that it will still get its money.
So
The moment you use it for an office premise, that emotional attachment no longer exists. And therefore, loans for those kind of facilities have a higher rate.
All right.
And therefore, they would want to charge a higher rate. And so, if you do it without their knowledge, they will say that it is an event of default. I can ask for my entire loan back, no installments. Give back my loan immediately. Or pay me higher interest from the beginning. Things like that.
Oh, so it can have some major consequences.
One
should not mislead the bank in that case.
Absolutely, one should not. But it is like a lot of should nots in India. I mean, a lot of people do it and get away with it. That is the unfortunate part.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for writing in. We are a little short of time, so we are moving to our next question now, which has been sent in to us by Mihir on Facebook. Now, he says that can a married woman buy an apartment or a house jointly with a sibling and get a home loan for it without the involvement of her husband? So, ideally what he's trying to say is if the wife can apply for a loan with her sister or brother.
A married
woman, that is, yes.
Right.
Yes.
So again, I think this is a little bit like the question we answered for Smita. What do the lenders look for when they get an application for joint loans? Two things they can look for. That these incomes will come into a common pool, and that common pool will be used to pay off my all-important loan. Now, typically in our society, what is the incomes that form a common pool? The most common is husband and wife.
That's right.
And therefore, husband and wife to get a loan is not a problem. Another common possibility, less but more, it is slightly less than husband and wife, is parent and child, which was the Smita's case. You could have two male siblings. I mean, Hindu undivided families still exist in some small pockets. So, the incomes can be pooled of two brothers.
You know, this is the question I wanted to ask you rather, that the RBI has no such rules. So, is there a particular law that states that you can't apply for
There is no law. This is credit. I mean, when as a lender, if he lends money, he wants to be sure it will come back. And it will come back, especially if he is considering pooling of income. Now, have you, I mean, in our Indian society, did you think of a married sibling, be it male or female, with another sibling? The income pooling is normally not there. And therefore, the chance of her getting loans on that basis is low. That is if income is being considered. If income is not being considered and they are being added because part of the property was inherited and that is being used as a down payment and balance money is being done by the brother or another sister, then the problem comes, ki, will this person whose income is not being considered, can he or she disrupt the enjoyment of this person who is going to pay off the loan? If they can, and the chances are they can, then again loan is a problem. Summary, it will be a difficult thing for Mihir to get a loan on the basis that he has outlined.
Mihir's
It's not impossible, but it is not impossible. Let me put it this way.
Okay, so basically two sisters, if married, can take a loan, but it's a little difficult to go about with that process. All right. We now move to our... All right, with that, we are completely running out of time. So it's a wrap on today's show of Property Hotline. But we'll be back tomorrow to answer questions on buying, selling and investing in property. Until then, you have a great evening and keep watching Magicbricks Now.